Hi guys! Well, I am back from a whirlwind trip up to Newcastle and back for the amazing renaming ceremony. I think that's the right term.
Yeah.
Could be rechristening, renaming of the amazing Ambassador Ambition.
So unfortunately, even though we were both invited, I couldn't make it this time. Again, work.
You're making this a habit of not coming on cruises with me.
I have to.
People are going to talk.
I have to earn the money. So how else are we going to afford this?
Pretty sure I'm earning the money too. But we had an amazing time up there. It was a beautiful ship. We had the best weather as well. I mean, I've never been to Newcastle before and had such good weather. I have been to Newcastle many a time. I have family that live there. But yeah, it was amazing weather.
So just some information about Ambassador. This is their second ship, which is Ambition. I believe it's going to be sailing out of more regional ports as well. So it's a no-fly.
They specialise. Ambassador specialise as no-fly cruises. So they can take you further afield, but obviously it will take a longer cruise. Not a bad thing in my books. But yes, you can cruise from the UK, from regional ports such as London Tilbury, not particularly regional, Newcastle, Bristol, Dundee, and things. So yeah, you can sail. They're really great, and I think that's a fantastic market to find.
Yeah, we went on the Ambience last year. We only lasted 6 to 8 hours. Unfortunately, you had to get off, and there was a few issues. There is a vlog that you can actually see. And you can find out what actually happened there. But with Ambition, it is, as I said, the second ship. It was formerly known as the Minstrel, the Grand Minstrel. It was Costa Neo Riviera. It then went in for a 55 million refit in Genoa in 2019, and then it was part of the AIDA fleet, which was AIDA Mira.
Yeah, I think it actually only did about 2 cruises as AIDA Mira in South Africa before the pandemic, obviously, the dark times. And it then obviously has been since transferred over to Ambassador, who has spent further money on it, not just doing up some of the interior further, but also they've done some amazing things on the actual ship's mechanics, which I think is a really great thing. They've spent a lot of time improving the emissions for the ship, as well as also the waste processing and things, which is great, because one thing we're going to cover a bit later is some of the amazing itineraries that you'll be able to do on this ship, because it has some of the best emissions and cleaning out of any other ship.
Even you said it was close to beyond their technology.
It is. They use similar technology to really modern cruise ships, so absolutely fantastic.
Well, because I didn't get to go, I think what we need to do is have a bit of a look and see what you got up to, Tristan.
I think I need to run myself. It's
really?
such a whirlwind. So of course,
let's roll VT!
Negroni, not Spagliato. And no Prosecco in it either.
That looked like a fantastic, 24 hours on board?
It was a crazy but amazing 24 hours, and I cannot thank Ambassador enough for inviting us.
Yeah. So before we get on to the embarkation as well, I did notice though the ship looked very, very Aida looking.
Yeah, there are a big influence. Obviously, Aida spent an awful lot of money on this ship before, so why would you waste that money? It's a fantastic finish that they've come to, and really Ambassador have just further improved it, although if you're not a fan of purple, maybe not the cruise line for you.
Embarkation.
So, of course, because this was a press trip, we were travelling together as a sort of medium-ish group, I suppose, of vloggers and Associated Press. So we arrived at the terminal together, and we were pretty much just got straight through. It was really quiet, actually. I was quite surprised. I think most of the other passengers had already gotten on the ship by the time we got there. We didn't get there till about lunchtime, so it was a bit delayed.
So was there paying passengers on board as well?
There was, well, actually no, there weren't technically paying passengers.
Right.
There were public who were invited, so could win competitions to come on board, etc. So a lot of local people. Some were regular cruisers, some were people that had never been on a cruise at all. So it was a really good mix.
Okay.
It also enabled you to get to see a lot of the ship actually alive, so not just in a sterile kind of press environment where press are just walking around filming everything. There were people enjoying the bars, we had people sort of enjoying the restaurants. The buffet was really busy when I got on board at lunchtime, and yeah, it was just really nice to see such a lively ship actually.
Okay, the ship. So this ship's changed hands, as I said before, a few times, hasn't it? So let's get some stats on the ship. So it carries 1,200 passengers. It has 680 cabins, of which 125 of those are balcony, and a whopping 113 are suites.
Yeah, this is definitely a ship. If you prefer a balcony, it's going to have more of those than, say, its sister in ambience. It doesn't have obviously as much there. It is definitely a smaller ship, which I actually really am starting to like smaller cruise ships. Unfortunately, being 1,200 passengers, I think it does technically take it over the limit to be able to sail into actually Venice and up the Grand Canal. But still, lovely small ship, but actually fantastic facilities throughout the whole ship, really.
Okay, and what would you say, like, what were the public areas like? Because I know that a lot of this was done in the transformation, and the same when Ambience was done by P&O Australia, you could see that there was a lot of money spent on the public areas and they look really, really good. Is that sort of what you found?
They were. They've definitely done more than just change the carpets.
Right.
It was beautifully looked after, and I love that with these older ships. In many ways, they have some real charm to them. They are so well looked after, and I think Ambassador are just going to continue to really love the ship and give it more TLC over the years. I think so. Some of the spaces, there's not any damage that we could see. Beautiful, comfy, loads of seating areas to sit, loads of bars just to chill and relax in. And my most favourite thing on any cruise ship, a really nice full wrap-around promenade.
Nice. That's the nicest thing to do. Love going for a walk around especially after dinner. Yeah. So I also wanted to know, was the ship kind of like, was it easy to navigate, or was it sort of a bit all over the place and the higgledy-piggledy?
It is obviously, being an older ship, more that you have to go through a venue to get to a venue sometimes, or through a bar to get to a restaurant. Yeah. But it is kind of all off a central atrium again. It's pretty easy. All the key stuff is on the main deck, sort of typical decks. So you've got kind of deck 4 to 6, which are the kind of main social decks, if you like, internally, and then you've got obviously the higher decks up on deck 11, etc., with the pool decks. But it's all kind of pretty easy to navigate and locate around. 3 lots of lifts, so plenty of lifts as well to get you up and around. Although the stairs are always an option if you want to lose some of those pounds.
Yeah, we tend to take the stairs now so much, don't we? Because
especially
I'm sick of waiting for lifts.
Especially on the smaller ships, it's easier just to walk up a few flights of stairs.
So,
if you can.
As you said, you went for the naming ceremony. So tell me a little bit about what happened during the naming ceremony and anything sort of special. I know there's a godmother and that, so...
Yeah, so it was really nice. We actually, just before the naming ceremony, got to go up and have a full bridge tour. Oh, wow. And that was my bridge tour tour cherry popped.
Whoop.
So yeah, it was really fascinating. Actually, I've always wanted to do a bridge tour, and it was just so great to just see it all. I actually got to film some of it, which is unusual for a bridge tour. I think because we were in port, it was a bit more easy to do. Actually met the captain as well as some of the other senior officers and things, and that was really nice because when we went down for the naming ceremony, or renaming ceremony I should say, we actually got to again meet all of the senior staff of the cruise ship. Yep. We also got to meet the godmother again and had some nice words from the CEO of Ambassador Cruises as well as other members of the board to give a bit of a glimpse into the future plans of Ambassador. One of the really amazing things that I thought and one of the key takeaways was that actually in its first year, Ambassador Cruise Line was a profitable cruise line and turned a profit, which there are some much bigger cruise lines out there that have been going for a lot longer that still don't turn a profit. So really impressive.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, no, that's really good news to hear. I mean, going on ambience as well. I mean, I sort of got a feel for the Ambassador, even though I was only on there for 6 to 8 hours. But it seems as though, do you feel the same vibe on Ambition as what there was on ambience as well?
Yeah, it's a really nice, friendly vibe as well. The crew are really personable, which is great to see. I love the crew will sit and chat to you and talk about you. They'll remember, even in that short time that we were on board, he would remember you had a gin and tonic earlier when I went back to a bar. He'd be like, would you like a gin and tonic again, or do you want something else? Which is really great service actually to see. We also got to partake in some of the theatre show whilst we were on board, so to see a bit of a
let's talk about entertainment a little bit later.
Okay,
we will.
We'll talk about entertainment later.
Stay tuned.
That will come soon, say it later. But the ship in itself, it is beautifully decorated and well looked after.
Yeah, excellent. And we saw the bottle, like Tristan sent Josh and I a picture or a video of when the bottle smashes, and it was so funny because Josh was just more fascinated with the fact that does all the glass go? But it's sugar glass, isn't it?
I think it is sugar glass, so it always smashes now. But I may be wrong on that, and please do let us know in the comments below if you know it's a normal glass and there is the risk of it not smashing. I'm not sure. Maybe it's just the force. It goes with quite a bang from the looks of it. So.
Exactly. Cabins. So what was it like?
So I was lucky enough to stay in a junior suite this time. Ooh. I know, ooh la la, which actually came with a bath as well, which is some of those that love a bath. Although being just over 6 foot, once I got in the bath and had a shower the next morning,
it was a shower.
I was a bit actually the ceiling height was.
Oh really?
I was kind of wedging my head against the ceiling a bit, so. A great, nice, powerful shower, but the head height's a little bit limiting in that sense. Okay. But the room was lovely. It was really good size. Yeah. Beautiful little sofa to relax in. Tiny little TV. So obviously you're supposed to be out enjoying the ship and the scenery, which is fine. Bit of an odd thing. My balcony only had one chair. Which for a junior suite that is designed with a nice king-size bed in there, I was a bit confused by that. I'm not sure if it will come later. Maybe they just hadn't had the full delivery or something. Yeah. Some things when I did arrive in the ship did arrive a bit later actually. So when I did my ship tour, some eagle-eyed people have already commented and said there's no hand soap. It did arrive very shortly after I was filming, hence I didn't make a comment about it because it arrived.
So what was the storage in the cabin as well?
Loads of storage.
Oh, really?
Ambassador definitely are not short in their rooms on storage.
Nice.
There were so many shelves, full-length rails to hang things on, little hidden, cupboards behind mirrors, which I only found
that's a secret.
So, there were some lots of storage as well.
Yeah.
A little bit lacking in power, I have to say.
So
there was power by the desk, but not by the bed, which. In my thing is a bit of a misstep.
Because I was going to ask about technology, because obviously being an older ship as well, I just wanted to see how they'd upgraded technology as well. So do they have USB ports and things like that?
They have USB ports. Other than that, technology is a little bit old school, so it's fine. The hairdryer was quite an old school hairdryer, but it's fine,
But it did work, did it?
It did work.
Unlike on ambience, because when we were in our cabin, it was like nothing worked, did it? It was like the air conditioning didn't work. What else didn't work? Everything. The hairdryer didn't work. Nothing worked. So it's good to see, and so it looks as though they did actually spend money on the cabins when they did the refit as well. It wasn't just carpet.
I'm not sure if they did or AIDA.
I meant AIDA, I think.
I was going to say again, my bed did I notice had actually 2 duvets, which is very German.
Very German.
So that's quite an AIDA German thing. Now for me, it was perfectly fine. I quite like that, but if you are not used to it, just be prepared. You might have a duvet each, which at least that stops them stealing all the duvet.
True. bars and restaurants.
So this ship is very well equipped when it comes to bars. They range from the Clifton to the Angel Bar to the Cavern. Is anyone noticing a theme here? Around the UK.
Yep.
So I spent an awful lot of time in the Cavern Bar, possibly a little bit too much, as I didn't go to bed until about 3:30 in the morning.
Is that also the nightclub?
It does turn into the nightclub, but it is a really great bar as well. They have some live acts performing in there, as well as later on they have the DJ. There are quieter bars like the Angel Bar, which just comes off of the main atrium, and Clifton, etc., that are quieter bars as well. So if you don't want necessarily a full nightclub, you can go to a quieter bar and things. But equally, Clifton has a pianist most nights and a lounge singer, so there's a bit of atmosphere there.
Okay.
In terms of restaurants, speciality wise and upcharge ones, there is Saffron, which is an Indian. Now the upcharge for this is, I think, £17.
Okay, that's not bad.
It is
actually
a tasting menu of about 8 courses.
Wow.
Which for £17, I don't know many places that you could get a tasting menu of Indian.
Even on any cruise
or an
ship,
Indian
really.
full stop
No, exactly.
for £17.
No, that
so
sounds good.
that is an amazing price.
Yeah.
You also have Lupino's, which is a Mediterranean style restaurant. It does have a bit of a sad story about it. I'm not going to ruin it, but you can go on when you're on board. You can go and find out. It does have a lovely little story, but a little bit of a tinge of sadness there. It's in memory of someone. Is all I'm going to say. Free restaurants, obviously, you have the Borough Market, which is the buffet.
And they had that on Ambience as well. And I found on Ambience, it was one of the best buffets. It was really, really fancy, wasn't it?
It's quite small on Ambition.
Yeah.
But it's got lots of seating. It's not tiny at all. It's got a really nice little outdoor seating area actually that overlooks the aft of the ship, which is really lovely. So you can walk out there. And the food, a couple of times I walked through there for lunchtime and the breakfast time, really good selection actually. Really, really good selection. Really nice looking food as well.
Nice.
So you've also got the Buckingham restaurant, which is the kind of main dining room restaurant. It's the same
as Ambience.
Which is again really great food. It does also serve breakfast. Breakfast is more of a buffet in there. They've taken, being on AIDA cruise where they have lots of buffets. It does have a buffet, so it's a buffet for breakfast. I think it may also sometimes do a buffet for lunch. But for dinner, it is a proper seated restaurant, sit-down restaurant.
Nice.
You do also have Holyrood. The Holyrood restaurant is up above the Buckingham restaurant and is actually designed to be for suite guests and those higher classes of guests on board. It effectively offers the same menu, but in a slightly more intimate environment. It's a slightly smaller restaurant, so it gives a little bit more intimate. So this is said to be a little bit nicer, I suppose.
Nice.
Which is quite nice. Has got again a nice little outdoor. The Holyrood one has a lovely outdoor seating area as well, which is really nice.
Did you notice whether there was like any outside bars, pools, like sort of areas there? I know.
So there are by the pool. You've got the alfresco grill, which is included. Again, typical pool bar affair. There are 2 bars either end of the Lido deck, so you've got plenty of bars there and loads of waiter service around as well, and loads of fantastic places to sit. We found those little big kind of like cocoon chair things, and Lizzie and I hid in those for a little while. So there's plenty of spaces to sit and relax.
So food, I suppose this ties in a little bit with what you discussed with the restaurants, but
it does. Now, rather intriguingly, Ambassador call themselves a premium value line. Now, hold the phone. I know they're opposites and it doesn't really make sense. They are basically looking to offer a little touches of premium for a lower cost price point. That's what I'm trying to say. Now, worth it, somewhere that they are really offering, I think, great value is the included food. The food that we had on board was all the normal food that they would have and serve through the rest of the cruises, and it was really fantastic. Really great quality. It's not necessarily up with some of the it's not up there with some of these high-end, Michelin star food. But I had some really, really lovely meals there, and they are really trying to push the boat out with a typical English flavour and taste to them. So they're not going to go particularly exotic, but I had a fantastic rack of lamb, which was really to die for. And the fact that they still do the traditions of the kind of walking out with the baked Alaskas and throwing things up.
So it's
in the
like
air
that old world of how it was, and that's where we were at the cusp just before COVID. You know, they used to do a lot of that, and now we find that just doesn't really happen much anymore.
They did also say that the chef, when I spoke to the executive chef, was lucky enough to meet the executive chef briefly, and I actually had a chat to him, and he said one of his favourite things to cook is a croque and bouche, and I was like, and you didn't do it whilst I was on board? It's one of my favourite desserts. But yes, it was fantastic, and really, really nice actually.
Yeah, I mean, for me, you know, the desserts make a cruise. What do you think the desserts were like?
Definitely, the desserts make a cruise, and they are very good. Also, as you know, I'm more of a cheese board man now. The cheese board that I got on the gala dinner, wow,
was it
was
good?
Superb. I got about 5 or 6 different types of cheese, and unlike certain cruise lines, they were not all cheddar and Gouda. So it was lovely to have some nice blue cheese, some goat's cheese, some really different types there. So it was fantastic.
Okay.
Interesting enough as well, we did have breakfast on board. The breakfast was really good, really quite varied actually. You had the usual things of bacon
and sausages and stuff
etc.
like
You
that,
had lots of vegan choices as well on board, which were really great. Not just for breakfast, but also through all the meals. Everything had a vegan option, not just a vegetarian.
That's good.
So they had a vegetarian option and a vegan option for most meals. So and most courses, so that was really great.
I mean, because I'm lactose intolerant as well, I sometimes go to vegan options as well, and so it's good to hear that there is different sort of.
I did slightly test them with this as well. I asked for an oat milk latte, and I did get an oat milk latte.
Lovely.
Now in the main restaurants, they're not great at that. I have to say, they're kind of like, it's coffee. I looked a bit confused, but in like any of the bars or anything like that, if you ask for something a bit more, if you ask for a latte or an oat milk latte, so no issue at all. They'll always sort it for you.
Entertainment.
Please don't punch me in the face. Jeez. Now, the entertainment, we were treated at the end of the renaming ceremony, I keep saying naming ceremony, rechristening ceremony, to a little splice of what the shows are going to be like. And we had a sort of Western compilation of music and fireworks and lots of bangs and things going. So really, really good though, actually. I think they had a few little teething issues on the night with the microphones weren't great and things like that. Maybe they couldn't hear themselves fully in the in-ears. But overall, I think, given that it's the Finding the Feet, and I've seen plenty of shows on long established ships that struggle sometimes with things like that, and I am a sound engineer, so I know it can happen. Really great, actually. Going to be a lot of fun. Very typical affair for a cruise line. We saw an ambience as well. Really good sort of musicals.
It was good though. It was good. The only thing I want to ask about the theatre as well. What was the theatre like actually?
It's a really good size. It's very traditional. It's all nice tier seating.
Nice.
They do have, and they've sorted this out since ambience, I think, as well. They do have, as you come in, they had tables with glasses of wine, beer, random coloured cocktails. I don't know what it was. I just had a beer. And they had various things like that as you came in. So you can have a drink. They've got tables by the seats, but they aren't offering service during the show. Because that's one thing, and that was a bit disappointing with ambience, is that when we went to the theatre as well, they didn't allow people to bring drinks in. They were doing a drink service in there, and people like waving their cards around, waiters walking in front of you and that, and it was a bit distracting. So it's good to hear that, you know, there is. It definitely wasn't happening. Now, whether that was just because the CEO was standing up on stage for a while, but they certainly weren't doing it for us, and they have these tables, and that's a much better way to do it. But it is nice as well to be able to sit and have a drink.
No, I'm not saying that it wasn't, but I just think it is distracting when you're trying to watch a show and you've got a lot of noise going on in front of you.
Service should end during the show, or sort of pause during the show.
Yeah. So while you're on board, did you get a chance to go and have a look at the spa and see what was on offer there?
I did get to go to the spa. I also had a very nice little brief but short shoulder massage, which was lovely.
Nice.
Because they were offering free tasters, so I was like, I am not going to decline that, thank you. So I had a brief shoulder massage. I did go to the gym. I didn't go to the gym because there's not enough time, quite frankly. I was a very busy man. But it is a really good sized gym. The spa is absolutely lovely. It's very Aida in the colour scheme and things like that, but really nice actually. One interesting thing is that you only get access to the spa areas if you have a treatment.
Okay.
From what I could tell. So there isn't like just access to like a thermal suite kind of idea. Although they do have a thermal suite with a really nice sauna, steam room, relaxation areas, the weird showers that make you cold and hot, cold, hot.
Cold, hot.
But you only really get access to that once you've had a treatment or if you've got a treatment book. So it's worth noting. From what I could tell, it's a bit of a shame.
Like steam rooms and stuff like that.
Yep, steam rooms all there. And the one that smells like stinky feet was there as well. Yes.
You love your stinky feet.
I don't love it. No, I would not go in it. But no, it's a really nice spa. The gym is really good size as well. Really big. They've got a kind of separate area in the gym for spin classes and things. Wow. And the nice thing about the gym, it overlooks towards the front of the ships. You've got huge spans, so it's a good reason to go to the gym, I suppose. If you're sailing the Norwegian Fjords, you can admire the fjords whilst burning off the calories from your dinner.
So really good. And what about any other facilities like in the?
There's a hair and beauty salon in the spa as well. So there were some ladies partaking in getting their hair done that day, which was very nice for the gala dinner, of course. So I was not partaking. I don't need my nails doing. So yes, but. Yeah, that's about it really. Nice, good size.
Okay, so final thoughts.
So she is a lovely ship, and I think Ambassador have really cottoned on to a nice area of the market that really isn't tapped into. The no-fly element from regional ports in the UK, which gives people more choice nearer to them, which can only be a good thing because it gets more people into cruising.
And I suppose it's like tapping into the world from where you live rather than having to travel, either down south to Southampton.
Yeah. There's also some really great things, like they've partnered with Orca to look at the conservation of the whales and dolphins, etc. And they actually had some representatives on board when we were on there.
Really good.
And they were talking about how actually you can, they're going to do specific cruises and courses and itineraries to support this, to look at the nature and to really focus on that. So really amazing to see.
Okay. And what type of, apart from just being regional and that, I mean, do you see it as an international audience, mainly British, and do you what kind of age groups?
It's definitely a British cruise line. Yeah. And slightly British. Anyone can book it though. You can book directly with Ambassador. There are some now agencies that are starting to actually set up contracts, etc. So it will be only getting more and more popular, I'm sure. In terms of, you can also as well obviously sail to places like the Caribbean, to the Med, etc. on board them, and the Canary Islands, as well as places like the Norwegian Fjords, Iceland. They're doing a lot to Iceland and things. So there are some amazing places and itineraries on there. Obviously, they are going to be longer because they're sailing from the UK to get there. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. I think as well that also it hits into their kind of demographic. The market they're looking at is predominantly the older market. They do have what they call multi-generational cruises, which are where children can go on during the holidays, school holidays, etc. They are still longer ones during the school holidays typically, but they are predominantly an adult kind of cruise line towards the older generation, shall we say, of cruisers that want a more relaxed experience on a cruise line. But equally, there's plenty to do if you are a younger cruiser. I certainly wouldn't be like, oh no, it's not for young people.
So what kind of things do you think, what did you really like and what things did you not like as much?
I think the inclusive nature of the offers that they do, the fact that the actual drinks prices, even if you don't have a drinks package, although the drinks package prices themselves are really good.
Really? Okay.
The prices are cheaper than actually some of the high street ones. I mean, there were things like, I think a pint of beer was like £2-3. It was insane.
That's good.
Cocktails were around about £5.50, £6.
Wow, that's actually quite good.
Which is a really good price. So if you're not paying for a drinks package on board, they do have some really good pricing. Just if you're paying as you go, kind of thing. But if you are obviously an included package, they do have the various different drinks packages there to offer you the variety that you really want. So just want to once again really thank Ambassador and Rooster for inviting us to the renaming ceremony. It was an amazing opportunity and we can't thank you enough.
Although I couldn't come.
We also really couldn't be doing this without our Patreons. If you are interested in becoming a Patreon and supporting us and you like our content, then please do go to patreon.com/cruisebuoys.
Yes.
And you'll see all the various tiers and packages there that we have on offer. You'll get exclusive access to early releases of our content through to behind the scenes footage that no one else will see, probably should ever see as well. Not. But we just want to thank all of our Patreons, and we couldn't do this without you.
That's right. And if you want to see more content about Ambition, we've got a cabin tour, so you can check that out as well.
So we will see you all soon when we will be on the flip side, down under.
We're going down under, so wait for Cruise Boys Down Under. Strike me pink.
That's all for now. See you soon. Bye.
Ciao, bye. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe, ring the bell for notifications, like, comment and share.